Hey, what's up guys, it's Unleash here today, and we are back with another video on Sonic Frontiers. And in today's video, we have some news that needs to be discussed in my opinion because it kinda goes against what people like Kishimoto and Iizuka have said about Sonic Frontiers, so yeah, we're gonna be looking at it all in today's video. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's take a look at the news at hand. Onto Twitter, with Sonic Rush. Right here we have a user called Radical_1991. So, apparently the leaker managed to beat Kronos Island in 35 minutes. And for context on this tweet right here, he's not about that massive leak that happened a couple of days ago, and yeah, we're not really going to talk about that right now. But yeah, we know that leaker actually beat Kronos Island now. Yeah, according to this tweet right here, he beat it in 35 minutes. And as we'll talk about right now, that is a massive issue. Now, the reason it is an issue because, if you remember a couple months back, I think it was probably in like June or something like that now, we read an interview with Kishimoto that said Sonic Frontiers would take between 20 to 30 hours to beat, and then obviously double that time to 100% the game. And because of those words that Kishimoto said, this creates a big issue with this right here. Kronos Island is beatable in 35 minutes, like, that is just ridiculous. If the first island is beatable in 35 minutes, that means they're gonna have to drag out the rest of the game to actually meet that 20 to 30 hour that we were promised by Kishimoto. It's either that or the game isn't actually 20 to 30 hours to beat. And to be honest with you, I don't really like any of those options. I mean, I don't want the game to be dragged out because it's gonna get kinda boring. And then also, I don't really want the game to be shorter than 20 hours. I don't know, that's kind of asking a lot because it's a Sonic game. But still, a 20 to 30 hour Sonic game, that'd be awesome. Think of all the story and the gameplay we could have got in that time. It genuinely would have been cool to have a Sonic game be that long, especially after the last 10 plus years of short games. Going from 3 hours to 30 hours would have been awesome, just gonna say that right now, but yeah, it don't really seem that's actually gonna be happening. Now, I have no doubt that Frontiers will still be the longest Sonic game in quite a while, but still, I can't help but feel a bit disappointed by this news. Now then, as always, we have some people trying to defend Sonic Frontiers for this little piece of news here. So we have a tweet by DJ Sagefire. Before people go crazy, I'd like to inform you that a Game Informer journalist that played the game for 4 hours said that there's an entire section of Kronos Island blocked off, even after all the emeralds are collected. Also, there are 50 cyberspace stages. Keep this in mind. Now, there are some fair points in this tweet right here. Brian Shea did say that he actually played the game for 4 hours only on the first island. He didn't even moved to the second island yet. Which does mean there's at least 4 hours of content on Kronos Island. And that wasn't even the full island too, because there was a section blocked off that he actually stated in that video that he said it in, I can't remember which one it was. Now then, while this could sound like a good thing, we have to consider one thing, that Brian Shea might not have been amazing at the game. Because while he did spend 4 hours on the first island, what was he doing in those 4 hours? Was he dying repeatedly over and over to enemies? Was he failing some platforming challenges? Was he dying in cyberspace a lot? We don't really know exactly what he did in that 4 hours on the first island, so while it is kinda good that he managed to spend 4 hours on the first island, he could have been playing 4 hours this terrible gameplay. And that's not really that hard to believe either, since we've seen people in the video leaks. They suck at the game, let's be honest here. But then one important part of this tweet right here is that they say that even after all the emeralds are collected, there's still a part of Kronos Island sectioned off. And I do have a theory about this right now. If you look at many Sonic games in the past, let's say Sonic and the Black Knight for example, there was 2 halves of that game, wasn't there? We had the basic regular stage in the first half of the game, then you go to beat King Arthur, and then the first half of the game is cuts off, you get the fake ending, you know the drill. But then when the second half of the game plays out, you actually revisit all the locations, but in a distorted version of them. So for example, we had Camelot Castle turn into Knight's Passage, then you had Deep Woods turn into Shrouded Forest, Titanic Plains turned into Great Megalith, and so on. Now then, could the same thing happen with Sonic Frontiers, where we visit all 5 islands, take down the Titans, then after doing that, we return to all 5 islands, being able to visit the section of areas that we couldn't go before. And now I do have some evidence to actually support this, because if you go look back at the footage that we got from the Game Awards back in 2021 in December, even in some of those screenshots too, there are lots of areas that we haven't actually seen in the demo footage or in official footage either. For example, this forest area right here, where is this in Sonic Frontiers? I haven't actually seen this yet. And then this triangle structure right here, where is this in Sonic Frontiers? I haven't seen it either. So clearly, there are some parts in Sonic Frontiers on Kronos Island that we haven't actually had the chance to visit yet, which could back up my theory that yes, we return to these islands after going to all 5 of them and defeating all the Titans. We even have this image right here from, obviously, Death Proj on Twitter. Use straight from the path, turn back, complete your mission. So yeah, clearly, some parts of the island are sectioned off that we can't visit to yet for some reason. So maybe, just maybe, we revisit these parts of the islands in a possible second half of the game. Now to support this theory even further, Kishimoto was the director of the storybook games, and he is also the director of Sonic Frontiers. So maybe he wants to reuse some ideas for Frontiers, taking it from the past. I don't know, just a little theory I have here. Right, I know we shouldn't really be comparing games to each other, but let's look at Super Mario Odyssey. The first kingdom in that game, Cascade Kingdom, is quite a short area. It can take you, let's say, about 20 to half an hour to beat that first area, and then you go whiz off all the way to the Sand Kingdom. Now then, with the Sand Kingdom, that is significantly longer than Cascade Kingdom. You have the first area in the city and then the ruins, then you go actually inside the inverted pyramid, then after that you come back out, it's all night time, explore that area once again, then you go actually inside the hole where the pyramid actually rises. Then once again, after beating that little underground section, you come out of there, then once again, you can explore the island once again. And yeah, obviously, that's a lot more complex than Cascade Kingdom, resulting in a longer playtime. Now obviously, if you know the game well enough, you can beat Cascade Kingdom and Sand Kingdom very, very quickly. A lot quicker than the standard 20 minutes or so on Cascade Kingdom. But the point here is that the second island is definitely a lot longer than the first island. Maybe that's the case with Frontiers here, I don't know. I mean, we really should be comparing games to each other because they're different games completely. But I just wanted to give a little example here. Now I'm not saying that Frontiers could also do this, but I'm not saying that Frontiers could not also do this. Kronos is still the first island, a lot of tutorial stuff here and there, basically teaching you the basics of the entire game. Maybe when you head on to the second island, things get a lot more longer to do and obviously more complex. But the difference here with Sonic Frontiers and Super Mario Odyssey is that Super Mario Odyssey has a lot more islands compared to Sonic Frontiers. It has like, I don't know, like 10 plus in Odyssey, whereas Frontiers has 5. Meaning that the progression in Frontiers is going to need to be a lot more quicker than Odyssey. Now, the one thing that we're forgetting with Sonic Frontiers is that the game has a story. Now, this leaker has obviously been skipping a lot of cutscenes, and as we know, cutscenes play into length of a Sonic game. And from what we've seen and heard so far, Frontiers' cutscenes are definitely not short. The Titan cutscene, for example, is about 2 minutes in length. And that might not sound like a lot, but as we get more and more cutscenes, that runtime of the game is going to keep going up and up and up. And if Frontiers really is story heavy compared to previous titles, those cutscenes are going to take up a lot more time, especially if the game's just longer in general to begin with. So obviously cutscenes are definitely going to play into the game a lot more. So if you don't skip cutscenes on the first island, maybe that 35 minutes can turn into maybe an hour or something like that, maybe even just a little bit less than that, I don't know. But yeah, once again, just another thing to think about. Anyways, that about does it for today's video. So yes, it turns out that Sonic Frontiers might not actually be 20 to 30 hours like we were all expecting, because Kishimoto said it, of course. But just because the first island is short, doesn't mean the other islands can't be longer. But it also could mean that too. I'm really hoping that the later the game goes on, we can have a lot more lengthy things to do. I hope Cyberspace gets a lot longer to actually complete rather than just 1 minute stages once again. And I just hope that the difficulty does go up. I know Kishimoto has said in the past that the difficulty isn't really going to go up in this game, as they found other ways to challenge the player, but still, I do hope that enemies get harder, Cyberspace gets harder, and just in general the game gets a lot more complex. But what do you guys think of this topic? Do you believe Sonic Frontiers will be 20 to 30 hours or less? Let me know down below. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, especially that last one. Don't forget to become unleashed by hitting that join button down below. And remember, it's not necessary. And I'll see you all next time. Peace!